What is up, dudes and dudettes? I know you've been waiting for this for a long time now. Yes, it is AMC time, baby. Before we get into this, disclaimer first. Remember, everything on this channel is our personal opinion, and those opinions are in no means or form investment advice. You should always make independent decisions on what you should be investing, and what we say is for entertainment's purpose only. Now, let's get into it. Who's on our channel are actually surprised that I bought into AMC because I was never a proponent of chasing waves. Well, if we look at the chart right here, right, we zoom in a little bit because later we're gonna talk about on whatever happens over here, and I'm gonna explain about like what is gonna happen in the next few weeks or next few days as far as today is Memorial Day and nothing is open. But tomorrow the market will open and should be very exciting for AMC. But as of right now, we're gonna zoom in a little bit and sort of trying to understand like if you are a day trader and you see this momentum, right? Like this kind of this kind of upward momentum. So around like this point, right? If you're a day trader, or day trader or swing trader, you probably will buy in like around this part where you have a significant show of volume that everyone is interested in buying. That means, the upward sentiment is really high. Oh, and also, by the way, this is Chinese software that because I coded some of my custom code in this development code, that's why a lot of things are in Chinese. And if you're in America, then remember, filter it out. Like the red part is the green part, and the green part is red part. Because this is one of the trivia moment that where I'm gonna tell you that in China the colors are opposite. Yeah, I know, like Chinese people are colorblind. I'm just joking. Well, you're here for, some of the shits and giggles about stocks and also for some bad jokes. So when you buy it here, right, like you probably will set up your position around an average in here, which is around like $15, to be honest. And then what you will do is, so this is what happens on Fridays, this is what happens on Thursdays, this is what happens on Wednesday. So Wednesday market open, you see a little gap over here, and you're like, oh, it breaks out, right? I have a significant breakout point, and you see a volume increase like by a lot. So what you would do is you probably would sell like 20% of your holding, right? So then around this point, you have around 80% of your holding like on hand. So then the next day starts when the market start. It basically fills whatever you have left over here. And again, this is a little bit of a technical analysis on this video. And my next video also is about AMC. It's less technical. So on here, it fills about half of the full candle from yesterday. And on here, if you go on like a specific day on Thursday, we can actually see here. If you go on here on Thursday, you will see around this part where if you spend time to wait, let's delete everything. So if you spend a lot of time to have your execution plan every single morning before you enter a day trading position, you'll see that it sort of like gaps down a little bit to around like 1880 or something like that, around like $19 line. And you will set up a line over here like 1921 is a support line. So when it actually like move towards supply line, when it wiggles around supply line, you probably want to set up some limited buying order right here to buy some shares. And then because your average is actually lower than that, so you actually don't really matter. So let's say you have 80% of your orders are still from previous days, which you probably will have like a 16 or a 17 or maybe $15 an average price. So on here, when it breaks out, you probably want to add in a little bit shares. You say like add in 10% more, right? So then when it shoots up, depending on your investing style, and then you will look at for the next point where you set up another support, another buying out, maybe a little 10% depending on how much money you have on hand, right? And then you will probably just ride the wave and ride the wave on Thursday as you see significant volume increase, and you have a lot of support line and just going up, and going up. You probably want to hold it. But as a day trader, you kind of want to take your profit when you can. So around like market close time, even an hour, you like around this point, I probably will like sell like 20%. of your holding, because you've already made a significant amount. Like from 19 to 24, you probably already made like around like $5, right? So you say if you only buy like 100 share, you make a $500 profit. And on this point, you probably made like 600 profit already. So you probably clear out 20%. You have 90% clear. You have 70% left. And then around like a higher point, because you set up another support line over here, over right here. So around here, you probably want to sold like around 50% of your portfolio in AMC if you're, trying to play it safe and you want to clear out. So if you're absolutely day trader, you probably want to clear out like around that point. But because I kind of believe in AMC, I sort of buy into this movement later on in a day. So if I were you, I probably would like clear out 50% of the so you have 35% left. And then on Friday you see a huge gap up right here. Some people will actually panic sell here, but because it's pre-market, so they probably still buy in. And around like top or like around this point, you probably want to clear out half of this too. So then you will have 17.5% over here. So, and then your average price was still probably around a $20 or $18 line, and you probably want to keep holding it unless when it reaches your $28 support line, you panicked a little bit and you sell a lot of your shares, and a lot of you will probably left over like 5%, and you probably will back hold it to the end, right? But that's how institutional investors actually would buy some of these shares back, because retail investors are selling it on. And in a grand perspective, it actually doesn't matter because it would dip down, and as you can see, it dipped down on a lot compared to where market opens. It shoot up to like 33, and by the end of the day, it's around like 25, 26-ish. So it's actually $10 difference. That's a lot of money, a lot of volume, a lot of profit to be made on that just like one day if you're just trading the T's. Trading T's means like you buy low and sell high, buy low and sell high, buy low and sell high. So let me tell you what I did wrong on that day. So on Friday, I was actually not a part of the AMC train until Friday because I see a huge amount of volume, as you can see over here in Friday morning. I was like, maybe I should buy some and maybe hold it or maybe trade the arbitrage right there. So what I did is when pre-market opens, I buy it's about 10 20 shares, and I saw like 10 20 shares over here. And then what I did is I set up limited buy orders around like a 30. What is funny is if you look at my Robinhood account, maybe I'll put on maybe some screenshots on the right hand side. You can see I actually set up like limited buy orders at 30.89 exactly, and my sell points is around 31.22. And I will just buying 10 shares, 10 shares, selling 10 shares, 15 shares, blah blah blah, and made about like $50 per burst trade, and I made on some of them, right? And then when it goes down 30.89, I wasn't thinking clearly. My thought process was, we have a lot of sentiments that we want to really short squeeze those hedge fund guys, because this is essentially becomes a movement for the people. If there's a movement for people, maybe I should just backhold it for a little longer because I believe, right? Well, I'll put some meme stuff up where people are saying, if AMC went over $30, I'm gonna tattoo AMC in my lips or something, or stuff like, I switch out all the posters in my Walmart to literally just put all buy AMC posters. So what I did here is I did something wrong. I've always been a very cautious trader. Like I never would establish a long position or any position more than around like 50 shares, because I'm only day trading with a $25,000 account, and my majority of my holdings are in oil, because as a finance major and someone who studied finance, work in finance for a long time, not really a long time, a couple of years, but you have intuition and everything when you look at the US market and you look at what the president is sending out, what the Fed is doing, printing money and everything. My position on oil on long is very certain, and I made a couple of $100 over the past few days trading natural oil and other things, right? Trading commodities. But for AMC, I decided to buy into it because I believe in the movement. And next video, I'm going to talk about gamma squeeze and short squeezing and why, the short squeezing haven't even started yet. So for those of you who are panic selling, don't. Like, my advice is, again, I'm not giving financial advice here. It's just for entertainment purposes only. If I were you, I probably would, just hold it for a little bit, because basically right now, if you're so my buying point for AMC, then when it breaks down over the 2860 line, my buying point, I automatically set buying point around 2512, which is here, right? Because I did some math around like 2512. So when I backhold AMC around like $30 on that day, and then later on, what I did is I bought some at 25.12. I bought some at my $26 on support line when I sat there, and I eventually averaged at about $27. This is my current position right now, right? If you look at the line here, so $27, it's probably, let's see, $27 around here. So this is my average price right now, right? I have some at 25.12. I have some like even at the lowest point here, like 24.89 or something like that. But my majority position, my average price is 27.10, right? And as of price prediction, like, you don't need to panic, because I was talking to the other dudes on the channel. They're like, "Oh my god, why did you bought into AMC? It's such a meme stock." At this point, it's not really a meme stock. Like, what you have to understand is, when you're trading stocks, essentially you're trading not only about information, about what you think, long term or short term, where the stocks are gonna be, but also like you have to understand psychology, right? So for AMC, as a part of Wall Street bets and everything, what the hedge fund guys don't understand about our psychology is, for us, like $26 is essentially in California, it's one meal on price, right? Because everything is so expensive, especially when it's just like $6. For us, it's like a cup of coffee, and then just buy into it. Maybe buy 1,000 share or whatever, and just buy into it. For me, I'm just playing with like less than 10% of my portfolio, maybe like less than that, right? I basically play around it so then I can hedge it, because I'm essentially not trading only my money now. I'm trading other people's money, but I want to play free, I want to play loose a little bit, but not really, because my other position will cover my losses in AMC if the retail investor actually puts it out, or we beef that word out, or just like backed out around this point. But in reality, the real short squeeze is not even here yet. Again, I'm gonna make another video about it. But right now, what our ape majority should be thinking is, we should buy and hold it, because the longer we hold it, the longer the hedge fund guy is gonna bleed out. Because every month, these hedge fund guys need to pay an interest for borrowing the share on the market to short it, and then the borrowing rate is around like 7%. That's a lot. S&P only gives you about an annual return about 7 to 13%, right? Or like if you inflation adjusted, it's around like 4 to like 10%. 10% is like on a good year, and 4% on a not good year, and then they have to pay 7% monthly interest, bro. That's a lot. That is a lot of money. And then the longer we hold it, the more they bleed out. So right now, my price prediction for AMC is actually tomorrow when market open, I expect it to open around $30. Okay, why is that? Well, if you look at Frankfurt's exchange, right? Because Memorial Day is not really a international thing; it's more like an American thing, right? So if you look at AMC in Frankfurt exchange, that's around what? That's around 24.90. So one euro, right? 1 euro essentially worth more than the US dollar. So it's around 1.22 USD. So if you do the math around here, using my Asian brain, it's around like $30 worth actually. Let's do the math here. So if you do 2490 times 1.22, it's around 30.37. What some of you might say that, you mean the Frankfurt Exchange probably is trading at a premium because it's actually, the AMC stock is actually in the New York market. But in reality, even if it's traded as at a premium, like what do you think a premium is? Like premiums around like 10%. So if it's just like 10% premium times 0.9, so the actual price, so we probably would open at 27.34, right? Even if we open up at 27.34, with my situation or with my holding right now, so if my average price is around 27.12, I still make a short profit. But if you look at the Frankfurt Exchange there, um you will see that the upper momentum is pretty high around here, right? Like this is where most people trade, right? From 8 a.m. to 10, that 2 hour interim is like where a lot of volume happens. So a lot of people are actually going long, right? Especially retail investors. So I don't see there's gonna be any problem in AMC for tomorrow, and I think I'm pretty, let's just say 7 to 70/30. I'm 70% sure that, it's gonna close or open at green, right? It's gonna open at green, open around $30 mark, or in this case, probably 27.34 or $28 mark, and it probably close around 29 or 30, because if you look at the daily chart, the $30 line, where's the actually it's not the daily chart we're looking for, it's actually the 15-minute chart. The $33.91 is actually the next point, the next breakout point. So if somehow the stock goes up to 33.91 and it breaks out, then my friends, to $45 is possible, right? So a lot of YouTube channels are talking, oh my god, AMC is going to $10,000. It's not gonna happen, right? It's not gonna happen. If it says it goes to $400, I might believe you, because it's what happens to GameStop. That's where, a portion of the short squeeze, these people cover their positions. So then all of a sudden there's a huge amount of people basically just buying these shares to cover their position. Therefore you see a huge amount of volume, and then it shoot up like 300% or something like that in that one day. If you want to see the example here, well, what I'm talking about is around this part, right? I believe it will happen to AMC too. But for right now, I think patience is what we really need for every, apes around the corner, or everyone who is a part of, our little group, because we really wanna just draw squeeze those guys who are trying to destroy our movie theater, where we spend in most of our times. And if you think about it, like for people like me, I don't really have a lot of friends per se. I mean, I have really good friends, but most time I like to, be myself, stay to myself. Therefore, like I go to movie theaters and go watch movies by myself a lot. And then that's how I de-stress, detox, and dealing with stress. So it's guys, keep buying and keep holding. And I think, the dawn is around the corner. And even if you're saying, oh my god, like tomorrow, let's just say tomorrow, okay? Let's just say tomorrow what happens is it opens at 27, like 27.34, it goes up to 30, all of a sudden people start selling, people panicking, right? Or like they're just selling to cut the profit. Let's say all of a sudden, like somehow it goes back to the 24.21 line over here. And then that would just, let me give you another perspective. Uh, what does that mean is you're basically going lower than this support line right here. But when you go lower than that support line, it means you have to deal with another support line, which is over here, which is $22 support line. And I hardly I hardly believe that it will go down lower than $22. So then if we put that into perspective, so how long would this, reversal or correction last? Typically, these kind of flag formation for stocks like AMC or stocks like, GameStop, it lasts around, let's see, the last time was over here. Let me give you a perspective of how this works. So basically the question is how long you should hold it, or how long do you expect to see a upward momentum when you backhold it around that point? That's around 18 days. So how long is the 18 days? 5 days is 5-day trading days, right? So then that's 15, so about a month. So even if you just hold it for a month, you will see another upward momentum. Because around every month end, there's gonna be a small gamma squeeze, and there's gonna be a small amount of brokerages who requires their margin account holders to clear out or cover some of their positions. Of course, the huge big boys doesn't need to cover it yet, right? Because there's no federal regulations that dictates anyone has to cover their short position unless A, they run out of their margin, they run out of leverage, or B, they don't have money to pay their monthly interest anymore, or annual interest. Actually, I think it's monthly interest in this point. So right now, guys, keep calm and carry on, dude. AMC, there's gonna be huge price movement tomorrow. My prediction again is opens around 27.34, goes up to $30, or opens at around 30 and goes up around like 33.82, and then afterwards it's God's play now, right? If our fellow apes decide to buy in and hold it even more and buy in even more, maybe you will see a $36 around where the highest point we were at on Friday, right at close. And at that point, that made Wednesday really, really important, because the hedge fund guys or the institutional investors, what they can do, or what your brokerage can do, is they can literally stop you from buying these shares, and from there they will basically arbitrarily or basically intentionally lower the volume, so then they will jack down the price a little bit, or some of us might panic sell, or reap our profit or whatever. At the end of the day, guys, if you just buy and hold it, it's to everybody's benefit if you just, as a retail investor, if you just buy and hold it as of right now, because the huge short squeeze is not here yet. All right, I think this is good for this video, and in next video we're gonna talk about why it's only a gamma squeeze right here on Friday, and why the big short squeeze is not there yet. All right, have fun everyone, keep safe.